now let's go to the treatment part. First, let me explain about the treatment in male factor infertility. As I said, coming from the hypothalamus, in hypogonadotropins, we can give GnRH, that is FSH and LH from outside, from exogenous FSH and LH to correct this hypogonadotropism. So we can also give testosterone in case if the males have less testosterone in them for better spermatogenesis. In case of retrograde ejaculation, as I explained before, what is retrograde ejaculation? The ejaculate happening inside the urinary bladder rather than coming outside after the orgasm. This can be corrected by ligation and oligosperm. So these are some of the things. Usually, we gynecologists can correct male infertility to an extent. If in case of any varicocele or any other obstructions or hypospadiasis or any other problems, we usually refer them to a urologist and andrologist for better medical intervention. Okay, so in case of oligospermia, as I said, if there is a less count of less than 15 million, we can put them on clomiphene citrate per 25 to 50 mg for 3 months to improve the count. In case of less motility and delayed liquefaction, first we have to rule out any infection. We have to see for any pus cells in the semen analysis. So we can give them, we should give them actually for 3 weeks. We should give them doxycycline 100 mg BD, that is twice daily for 3 weeks. And we should also supplement them with drugs, antioxidants and vitamin C and vitamin E and folic acid. There are some tablets like UBQ which consists of all these vitamins together with the antioxidants in the composition. So we can advise them to take those tablets for 3 to 6 months, and we should ask them to take high colored foods like carotene and beetroot in a daily process. So these are some of the drugs used for male infertility. So as I said, motility, if it is caused due to infection, that can be corrected by giving these antibiotics to correct the infection in them. So we have to even rule out diabetes mellitus, and we have to correct the sugars in them by sending in by an endocrinologist, by referring to an endocrinologist. And we can there is another test called as DNA fragmentation, when there is a continuous even though we do some analysis after this treatment after 1 to 2 months, it doesn't see any difference. So we can advise them for a DNA fragmentation test. What is this DNA fragmentation? We see the DNA structure of the semen, of the sperm. If it is more than 40%, it shows that even in some people, even though the semen analysis is normal, the couple can't conceive, or even if they conceive, the female have recurrent abortions. So mainly in these couples, we have to ask for DNA fragmentation test for the male. So if it is more than 40%, it shows that this is the main issue why the female is having recurrent abortions or infertility. So these are some of the tests. As I said, varicocele and any obstructions can be corrected by the andrologist and urologist. So we have to refer to them. So what is artificial insemination? So in these males, when the male factor semen analysis, when we do the semen analysis, when the count and the motility is less, or even if the liquefaction doesn't happen within half an hour, we can always advise them for IUI in the first visit itself. So what is IUI? It is intrauterine insemination of the semen. So we ask the male partner to give semen sample just at the time of the ovulation of the female. So in females, we can put the females on ovulation induction drugs, and we can ask when the follicles grows into full size, we can give them a HCG. And the next day, we can ask the male partner to give the semen sample. The male partner can give the semen sample from the home itself, but the semen the semen preparation should be done preferably within half an hour. So we usually, in cases where the motility is less and liquefaction is delayed, we usually double wash the semen sample so that all the pus cells, all the debris is removed and the liquefaction is corrected. And we centrifugate the semen sample. There are two techniques in which the semen sample is prepared. That is centrifugation and swim up method. In these two methods, it is usually the semen is prepared by the andrologist, and this semen sample is injected directly inside the uterus. So what happens when the intercourse happens? When the intercourse happens, the semen sample is deposited inside the vagina of the female. So it has to travel all to the cervix and go to the uterus, and from there it has to go to the tube. But here we are directly injecting, bypassing all this route, we are directly injecting to the uterine cavity. So while doing IUI, we have to keep in mind that we should not touch the uterus. We should not touch the uterine, the fundal part of the uterus. What happens if they touch the fundal part? The fallopian, there'll be spasm happening inside the tubes and it'll contract. So the sperms doesn't travel to the tube. So always when we are passing, we should not touch the fundal region. And one more thing is that it's always better not to hold the cervix with anything. We can the tube which the while we are doing the IUI, the catheter which we are using is very flexible. We can change the directions using the catheter. If it is an anteverted uterus, we can move the catheter downwards. If it is retroverted, we can move the catheter upwards. We can even change the cervical position and the uterine position angle. We can change using the Casco speculum. And we always should try injecting the semen sample without holding the cervix. In case if we can't enter the internal os, we can hold it with the valcellum or sponge-on holder. We can and then pass the tube inside, but we should not touch the fundus. And we can wait for some time, remove the valcellum, and then we can inject the semen sample inside. This is called as IUI, intrauterine insemination. Okay, this is advised mainly in male factor infertility. It is also advised in male suffering from retrograde ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, neurological impotence, or any psychological disorders. Also, in some males, they have these erectile dysfunctions mainly due to the psychological factors. In these couples, also we can ask them for IUIs. In some people, during IUI, the male becomes anxious, then they can't give semen sample. So we can always counsel them for half an hour. We can ask them to take a Viagra tablet of 50 mg and ask them to try again. So there are two options in IUI. We can do a single IUI or double IUI. Single IUI is that it is done 24 hours after HCG injection. And we can ask the couple to try on themselves to have intercourse for the next day. Or we can have double IUI, which can be done on the same day which is done 24 hours after the HCG injection. And the next IUI is done after 24 hours after the first IUI. So double IUI, though the study says that single and double IUI has the same positivity rate, positive pregnancy rate. But in my experience, I've seen that double IUI is always comparatively better than the single IUI. But again, according to the financial things, according to the patient needs, we have to take the decision. So sexual dysfunction. So see, these are the some of the factors, the male factors who which is the indication of the IUI. So this is again, we have to keep in mind if we are doing IUI with the male, with the husband semen sample or the donor semen sample. In case of aspermia, where there is a complete absence of, if the semen sample doesn't come out, or azoospermia, in case of complete absence of sperms, there is no other go. We can ask the couple, we can counsel the couple always for a donor semen sample. In case of donor semen sample, we select a semen sample in a person who already have children, whose semen sample is perfectly all right, and we usually do all the tests to rule out any sexually transmitted diseases. And we should also take a history if they have any genetic disorders in that family, running in that family. So all this we keep in mind, and we collect a donor semen sample. There are multiple banks, semen banks in which the donor semen samples are provided. In case if the couples are not interested in a donor semen sample, then we can always ask the we can always go for the next step, that is IVF. So I'll explain about IVF to the end. So there are few IVF is a vast subject. Is another subject which again takes a lot of time to explain, but I just tell you in brief. So what is IVF? In vitro fertilization. So we collect the sperms from the semen sample from the males, and we collect the oocytes. We collect the oocytes from the females, and we process them inside the lab, and artificial fertilization will be happening inside the lab, and embryo is formed. That embryo is again injected back into the uterus. So what is GIFT? GIFT is that gamete intrafallopian tube transfer. It is transferring of the gametes inside the tube itself. So we are transferring directly the sperm separately and the egg separately inside the tube of the female. What is there? There is one more thing that is GIFT, ZIFT, GIFT. That is zygote intrafallopian tube transfer. That is transferring of the zygote directly inside the tube of the female. So what is MESA and what is TISA? So MESA is microepididymal sperm aspiration. In case of azoospermia, when we are not getting any sperms inside the semen, so we advise them for a surgery that is usually conducted by the andrologist. It is microsurgical epididymal sperm aspiration. Using a microscope, we see where the sperm is located inside the epididymis, and we take the epididymal fluid outside, and we check under we use the microscope while doing the surgery itself. So we'll not puncture the testis in multiple places. We directly take the sperm from the places where we have the sperm. That is MESA. What is PISA? There is one more thing called as PISA, percutaneous epididymal sperm aspiration. In that, we puncture testis in epididymis in several places, and we take the fluid outside and we test under the microscope for the presence of the sperms. But this has a disadvantage. As we puncture in various places, it may cause little, it affects the epididymis itself. And next is TISA. What is TISA? Testicular sperm aspiration. So we aspirate sperms directly from the testis. So next is ICSI. First let me tell you, MESA, TISA, and PISA are the most advanced methods. It's a real boon for the male infertility, as female infertility is little easier to treat. So ovulation, if doesn't happen, we can give drugs from outside, or if there is any laparoscopy, if there is any endometriosis or fibroid, we can remove them by open surgeries or laparoscopies. But in case of males, they have azoospermia or aspermia, it's very difficult. It was impossible for a male to conceive, for a female to conceive with such a husband before. But now, due to the advancement in our medical field, these are the advanced procedures that can be conducted. And even though the male partner has azoospermia, these surgeries can be done, and the female can conceive with the husband's sperm itself without going for a donor semen sample. Okay, ICSI I'll explain when I'm going to female treatment side.